I'm Candace Rodarty. This is Gratitude Geek, the podcast for Gen X women solopreneurs weaving appreciation and gratitude into your business strategy. And we are doing something very, very different than the previous 330 episodes. Today, we are launching our Momentum series. For the next 12 weeks, I will be talking to female founders about the insights they gained after achieving momentum in their business. What did momentum feel like, and where did it take them? And today we are chatting with the founder of Automations for Owners, Jenna Bannister.
Hi, thank you for having me.
Well, welcome. So, what would you like the listener to know about you?
Oh man, I started small, gained traction, moved quickly. On the personal side, I am a mom of two little boys, very rambunctious little boys.
So, with a name like Automations for Owners, I am going to guess that your business is relatively new.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, I started that one this year based on my land business that I started in 2019.
Okay, what's a land business?
A land business. So I buy and sell raw vacant land.
Oh,
So I buy it and flip it basically. Yeah, and I've been doing that since 2019. And that's
how
the one I automated.
interesting.
Yeah, I automated 95% of that business. So then I was like, I need to do this for other people because people kept asking.
Okay, so that's what inspired you to start your business. So, you already had a business in place, you automated it. People said, well, how are you doing this? And so you started Automations for Owners.
Yes, exactly.
So tell me that story.
So I've always wanted to work at home. Like I always wanted to be a stay-at-home mom. And clearly in this economy and with the things that are happening, it's not going to be possible. I have to have an income. So I was looking at things that I could do. And I've always been interested since I was like 9 years old. I remember telling my mom I wanted to own rental houses, which sounds like a very odd thing for a 9-year-old to say. I got into that business. I hated it. I sold my rental houses. I tried to do crash pads. I tried to do Airbnbs. It's a lot of work. And you think it's going to be passive income, and everybody sells you on that, and it's not. So I was a loan officer for about 6 years before I switched over to doing my land business, and I just kind of went all in. Once I did my first deal, I was like, I could do this. I can do this. I can make it at home. I can be with my babies. At the time, I had a kid in 2018, so at the time I had a 1-year-old, and I was being a loan officer at home, and I was like, this is still taking way too much time, and I'm not making the money I need as as a loan officer. And the market had shifted, so like the rates were getting higher, and it was harder to refinance, which is what I primarily focused on. So then I was able to get my first land deal. And then I sold my rental house because that land business started taking off, and I put all that money back into my land business. And then I got pregnant again and had my second baby in 2020, which at the beginning of COVID, because he was born in March. And so luckily they sent my husband home with pay working from home. So that was really convenient to have a newborn and a toddler. And of course we didn't know what was going on with that. And we're like, we don't know how it affects children, and had a newborn, and it took me 8 years to get them on this earth side, so I didn't want to harm them in any way. So I was basically working while they napped. And that was really difficult. I've got pictures of me. I even did a selfie. I was like, I need to remember this moment because it's hard, and it's going to be so rewarding in the future. And I'm going to forget all. It's going to be a blur because, when you have a newborn, it's a blur. When you have two littles under two, it's a blur. So I have a picture of me like pushing the stroller. I put my laptop on the stroller. I had my coffee, had my earbuds and my headset on, and I've got a picture of me like that, just to remember the moment, And then I had another one. I didn't realize I'd done this so quickly with my baby born in 2020 as a newborn. I've got him sitting here in my lap, and I took a picture of, again, to just be like, just remember this moment. It's hard, but you're going to get through it. And just remember what you did to build this, just to kind of have those memories. I'm like, it's really important. I'm really glad that I took the time to take those shots so I can look back on it. But yeah, so it was a difficult time. I tried to automate as much as I could. Back then, that was 2019. So I was able to automate in 2020 a lot of like the texting and the emails, the follow-up sequences. So from there, I wanted to automate everything. And it really wasn't possible until about 2-3 years ago when AI came out. And I was able to write things in my own voice, so it didn't sound redundant. It didn't sound like a computer wrote it. And it wasn't the same script because it could change. It changed everything. And that's when everything kind of took off. And I got the final piece that actually sounded good, which is the voice AI system that I was able to connect to my land business. So now my voicemail, not my voicemail, I don't use voicemail anymore. My voice AI agent, isn't that awesome? I hate calling a doctor's office and being like, oh hi, I'd like to change my appointment time, and I'm getting a voicemail or being put on hold. I'm like, just give me the AI system and I'll schedule my own call. You deal with me when I'm in person, and focus on me while I'm there, and then just do the digital stuff on the back end. Anyway, that's a pet peeve of mine. And one of the reasons I also wanted to implement the voice system, because like I didn't want my people going to voicemail, because I personally had that experience and it's frustrating. So now my voice AI system answers the call, it validates the lead. If it's a good lead, it schedules an appointment, and it does all the follow up for me. So that was the last piece that I was looking for, and it's done. So I had time on my hands, and opened up the automations for owners business, because everybody's like, how did you automate 95% of your business? So I started that this year.
So you have a system, an AI system that has a voice that does all your scheduling for you.
Yes.
So someone calls it and they can schedule an appointment with you, and it sounds like someone's talking to them.
Yes. Yeah. And it qualifies the leads too, because I send mailers out, and they just call in and they're like, here's my reference number, or they'll be like, I don't have a reference number. And if they ask, tell me more about your company, it can give them information about my company and what I do. And it always pushes for the appointment. The whole point is to get an appointment to schedule them. So then I actually hired somebody to do the answering and the sales now. And he's great. He's been with me for about 2 years now. And so he kind of manages all the leads and the intake and all that stuff. And he's amazing. And so he schedules it, or the VA, the virtual assistant, the AI bot basically schedules the appointment for him. So then he just gets scheduled appointments on his calendar. So he doesn't have to deal with people that are not qualified. He doesn't have to deal with angry callers. And I think that's been really great for like his state of mind when he's on the calls too. So it's like a double bonus, and it gives him more time to focus on the actual leads that are going to be deals.
Okay. So I need clarity.
Okay. It's a lot.
Does he work for your land business or your automations business?
He works for my land business. My automations business is starting out again, and I'm starting scrappy on purpose, because I kind of want to prove that it can be done. This is a totally different business model than the land business. Before it was, I want to say it's easy, and that's why I was able to do it for so long, where I just sent mailers and people called in, right? But the automations for owners, I'm finding out there's a lot of like marketing involved, which is something new to me. That's not just sending out a mailer, right? And it's a lot of personal relationships and the constant follow up with that. Now there were personal relationships on the other side, and I've managed those, but starting from zero with the automations companies, it's very eye-opening. It's a very different experience. I mean, I haven't done this in 6 years, started a new company in 6 years. But I needed the new lifeblood, I needed a new project, because I was, I had lots of time on my hands when my kids went to school.
I remember that moment. The moment that I had a whole day where I could do stuff. It was glorious.
You're like, what do I do with myself now?
Yeah, my daughter is 27, so we didn't really have digital cameras back then, or cell phone cameras. I don't have those photos of me nursing my kids, stirring the spaghetti, talking on the phone at the same time. I don't have those photos, but 27 years ago, I was a work-at-home mom who was innovating a brand new type of business that was internet-based sales. No one had ever done what we were doing before, and I was doing it with my little infant, nursing her and innovating this whole concept. And yeah, I wish I had a cell phone that I could have taken those shots.
Yes. Yeah. Cause you remember it, but you remember it so much more vividly.
I don't remember it. It was almost 30 years ago, woman. I don't remember any of that. Okay. So let's focus for the momentum story. I really want to focus on the land business, because that's where the momentum happened. And then we can come back at the end and talk about the automations business.
Okay.
So something I ask every single guest is, how do you weave gratitude into your business strategy?
Oh, that's a really good one. I pretty much do it. I start out with myself. So every morning I try to do a gratitude list, and I notice when I fall off the wagon, it's because like when I start to do bad in my business, it's because I've stopped doing my gratitude list. And that's huge for me. And that was one of the things that actually attracted me to your podcast. I'm like, oh my gosh, that's so me. And I try to include that in my daily life, just thinking about being grateful for the things in my life. And on days when I'm having a rough day, sometimes it's just like, I'm just grateful that I'm breathing right now. Sometimes I'm just grateful that I have feet and can walk on the grass. It's something so simple. Like, I have shelter over my head right now. I have food to eat for breakfast this morning. you know Sometimes it's just that simple. Other times it's like I can think of a million things that I'm grateful for. But I try to start out my day that way because it kind of reframes my entire mind. And me being the leader in my company, I have to be able to present that to my staff, because whatever you do, your staff and your children and your family, they're all going to follow, right? They all feel that, even if you don't express it, even if you don't say it, do it, they're feeling it. So
Mm-hmm.
I try to do that with my staff too. Like, when I have a meeting with them, I always try to do the sandwich method, I think it's called, where you're like, when you have something negative to say to them, you're like, you start out with something positive, you put the sandwich in the middle, the negative thing in the middle, and then you finish with something positive. So I try to do that every single time, just to try to keep it in a positive state of mind. And then also on the gratitude side, like, I love my staff and I try to express that. And sometimes I forget, and that's really bad. I feel like they do better, because I know I felt better when when I was working for somebody else, when my manager would be like, you're doing a great job. Or, even if they need to give me improvements, be like, I love how you're doing this. Let's work on that. But you're doing great overall. So I try to get those same thoughts into them. So it's not just like a me being grateful for things. I'm also trying to make them, not make them, but help them also be grateful for their business, their families. And I try to show appreciation for them. And I think that's part of the gratitude, is showing them the appreciation. If they want a day off with their family, I give them a paid day off. Because I feel like that's important. And if they're not doing the whole reason that they're working, which is spending time with their family, then what's the point of even working? What's the point of any of it? You're just going to be miserable. And I want you to stick around for a long time, because I love the people that are working for me, because they're great people. So,
that
yeah.
that little piece of making sure that the people who are there do, there is this myth, and for 50, maybe even 100 years, people said that the customer always is always right.
Hmm.
But when the customer is always right, it makes for miserable employees.
Yes.
You have to have the back of your staff. If you do not have their back, they are not
Yeah.
going to be happy. And so making sure that the people who work for you are satisfied and happy and enjoy the work they're doing, it's so important. And
Absolutely.
there is always that one person in the office whose attitude and mood influences everybody else's. It's not always the boss. Sometimes it's a coworker.
Those people don't last that long here.
What is your definition of momentum?
Hmm. I feel like mine's a little skewed, because I don't feel successful if I'm not improving. So, like, my idea of momentum would be like moving forward always, but forward to me isn't in a straight line, it's always up, which can be a problem sometimes. Because once you start getting in the groove of a business, it gets boring, which is what I found with my land business. And I was like, I need to do something else. So I automated it. And now I just do the part where I have to actually take accountability, where I have to sign the deeds and transfer the money and things like that I don't ever want to hand off to somebody. Um, so I think momentum for me is more like scaling in my mind,
That's
which isn't
fair.
really the definition of momentum, but
It but it's your definition.
yeah.
Everyone has a different definition of success. And I'm going to say momentum, success, I'm using them interchangeably here. My definition of success was that when my kid came home from school, I was waiting for her. I was
Yes.
waiting for the bus,
Yes.
waiting for that kid. And that made me feel like we were the most successful business owners on the planet, because I could be there when my kid got on the bus and I could be there when she got off the bus. And I didn't have to work before or after. I could work
Yeah.
while she was in school, you
Right.
know.
Yeah,
S-
the for success, I think that's probably very similar for me too. I think I feel it most, oddly enough, I feel it most when I'm sick, when I'm not feeling well. I went through a huge health issue last year for a few months, and I like literally could not work. I was tired all the time. I would get up after a full like 8 to 10 hours of sleep, and I would be falling asleep at my desk. I had a medical issue and I was not able to physically work. So I got up and did my 1 or 2 hours of whatever I needed to get done just to keep my business afloat, right? But being able to take that time off while my children were in school, to go to all the doctor's appointments, to be able to just say, I can't do it today, I need to sleep. and be able to actually physically do that. That to me was huge. Like I did a lot of meditating during that time because that's all I could do. Like mentally, that's like mentally and physically, that's all I could do for a few months. And until I got better, I needed that time. And so it was during that time that I was just like, I'm so grateful that I tried to set up my business. And I thought I was setting up to automate, to spend more time with my kids. And then like I was homeschooling one of them for 2 years. And then I ended up putting them both in public school because it was just too much to do the work and manage the children too. Um, and so being able to actually take that time off for myself to heal, and like working with AI, which I know this isn't an AI show, but working with my AI, I set up a health coaching agent and a personal, like, not want to say therapist because it doesn't replace therapy, but it is really great in the moment to be able to go to it and be like, I'm struggling today. And it's like, well, here's the 3 things you said you wanted to get done. Just pick one today. Like, this is not a good day for you. Like I would share my sleep schedule, and I'd share what I had done and all my plans and how I was feeling. And I'm like, I'm sitting at my desk and I'm literally falling asleep, and I'm taking my medication to stay awake, and I'm literally falling asleep still. And it's like, this is not a day that you will not be making good decisions today. You can pick 1 or 2 things that is okay for you to do. And then after your nap, you can finish those 2 things. But so it like really helped me to focus on me. And so I think going back to the feeling of success, I feel like I felt successful and so like just grateful because I was just able to take that time for myself, which, and in my mind, I'm one of the, like, I feel like it's a women generational, maybe just a women thing where it's like you feel guilty for taking time for yourself. And AI kind of helped me see you need to take care of yourself to be able to take care of your business, to be able to take care of your children, to be able to take care of your family. And the dirty dishes will be fine until tonight, until tomorrow, even, it's going to be fine. Your children are not going to die if you if you feed them peanut butter and jelly sandwiches for a week. It's going to be fine. So being able to be successful in that realm of being able to take care of myself was like pretty shocking and eye-opening, and that was definitely not something I thought would come out of automating things.
So I just finished reading this book called We Are All Weird: The Myth of Mass and the End of Compliance. And I feel like I'm going to be talking about this book for the next year. It's by Seth Godin.
Awesome.
It's by Seth Godin, and I think it was written around 2011. So it's not a new book. I just had never read it before. And I thought I had consumed everything Seth Godin wrote. But anyway, in this book, We Are All Weird, he defines being rich as someone who has choices.
Yes, absolutely.
And so we are rich because we have those choices. Now, you don't know this, but I just finished, I am like on the very end of a month of pneumonia. So for the month of June, I basically canceled about 98% of all of my appointments. I kept a handful and I barely got through them. Like I cut off a podcast interview way early because number one, I needed the interview because I had already used all of my pre-recorded stuff. But I couldn't finish it because I couldn't keep talking. Right.
Yeah.
So, but I had the choice. I had the choice to not do anything that month. I let my I got a wing woman in my group coaching program, and I let her run everything for the month, and they did, I didn't show up for co-working. I didn't show up for many of the things. I canceled some stuff, and I just said I cannot do this. I am so rich because not only did they give me grace, but somebody was there to pick up the slack when I needed them to. I mean, that is, for me, that's momentum. That's success. That is the feeling
everything.
That I have everything. Like I don't need anything else. So, so you didn't know that.
No.
Going into this conversation, I keep muting myself to cough. So I'm still not 100%, but I'm 99%. I feel so much better. I'm sure I sound better than I did too.
I'm glad you're feeling better.
Oh, thank you. So in that, you've already touched on it a couple of times, but in your land business, how did you know that you'd hit momentum?
When I made $200,000 in one deal that was from a mailer I'd sent a couple years ago. And that's very specific. And the reason why is because what led up to that particular contract is that I didn't touch it. Like I didn't touch it from beginning to end. It was done for me. Like the only thing that I had to do was speak with my investors. And that's the fun part for me right now. I love talking to my investors and just managing the deal from the sky level. but not being able, like, not needing to schedule the title company, not needing to schedule the real estate agent, not needing to talk to the sellers, which I love my sellers. With the time when I was having to do that part, I love talking to them, which is part of the problem. I spend way too much time talking to them, and it eat away a lot of my time, which is another reason I had to get a salesperson on that. But yeah, being able to see it done from beginning to end felt like momentum to me. Um, and then seeing it not stop is is really nice to see that pipeline keep on growing and going. Like the calls don't stop. When I went to Costa Rica in January, and the last time I went on vacation was like 3 years before that. I'd gone to Portugal, and I was stressed out the entire time because I had a salesperson that wasn't the right person. I had systems in place that weren't automated. It was somewhat automated, but not enough. I was in the wrong system, and like I lost money. Like I didn't lose money, but in my mind I lost money because I wasn't the numbers weren't tracking, right? Like the deals weren't being done, the numbers weren't working, and then like everybody was relying on me to sign things and do things. But this last time when I went to Costa Rica, it was like a totally refreshing new experience. I was able to spend those 10 days present with my kids, and it didn't stop when I stopped, which was it was so nice. It was so nice. And I was still stressing out because I'm just one of those people that I'm like, if I'm not doing something, nothing's getting done, right? But when I got home, it was getting done. Like I didn't have to worry. And a lot of times, like at the beginning when I was trying to be hands off, I would wait 24 hours. My staff would ask me a question, I'd wait 24 hours before I respond, which was really difficult. But it helped. It helped them get stronger. It helped them get better. And I had systems in place that I'd already taught them how to do. Like I set up my AI system where they could ask questions as if it's me and get the same answers I would give. So like there was no reason why they couldn't use that. And being able to step back to let them step forward felt like momentum to me. Even though it was scary at the time. The transition was scary at the time, but seeing that play out in full force of the contract got done from beginning to end without me being involved, the vacation I got to take without me being involved, I felt like that was actual momentum because I was able to step back and work on my business rather than in my business. And that to me is the full, the backbone of what momentum is not having to do those things. And again, I think it really ties into the success definition too, like you were saying as well.
Well, when you have a staff that has agency over their own choices and decisions and is 100% responsible for the results that they are providing to your company, to your
Mm-hmm.
team, that is in itself a sign that your company has momentum. I
Yes, but
mean,
also terrifying at the same time.
mm,
As a business
I can
owner,
see that. Yeah.
terrifying.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm.
No, I can totally see that. So what surprised you about that whole feeling of being in momentum?
The terror, I was like, that was shocking. Like one day, like before all of that had happened, there was one day where my staff was doing everything, and I was like, I feel like I'm doing something wrong. Like, what's going on? I'm sure I'm supposed to be doing something. I've forgotten to do something. I'm sure there's something I'm supposed to be doing right this minute. I'm not doing it. And I'm dropping the ball. There's something I'm supposed to be doing right this minute. And I'm not doing it. And I was terrified. It was scary. Because like when you have nothing to do, what are you supposed to be doing with yourself? I'm like, there's got to be something I'm doing. But I didn't want to get involved with my staff because they're doing their job and I don't want to bug them. I don't want to be that micromanaging boss because I had that and I hated it. I don't want to be that person that's taking over their job or always the bottleneck in my own company. I want them to be autonomous and work for themselves. And I'd given them tools and I needed to trust the tools and I needed to trust the people that I'd hired. So yeah, being able to step back, it was kind of terrifying. And that was surprising because I thought that I would feel relief and like, you think of like pina coladas and sitting on the beach and all that. And I'm like, that didn't change. I'm still taking my kids to school every morning, you know? So like my vision of success was some pie in the sky and that's not the same thing, And when we went to Nosara, when we went to Costa Rica, it was like, I took my kids with me because I want them to experience the world. I always wanted to have international travelers before they were 5, which I was able to do with my business. But doing that, like they're still screaming, they're still fighting, they still don't want to eat their food, and you're still living that moment, even though like your pie in the sky dream of what's going to happen is like the pina colada on the beach and your kids are playing and running and engaging with each other and all this stuff. And like, yes, there were those moments too. They played soccer with strangers on the beach and that was so fun for them. And I loved watching and enjoying and them playing in the beach and actually playing with each other, which was amazing. Like they fought less in Costa Rica than I've ever seen before. I would love to live there, honestly. But yeah, so the surprising part was that it wasn't all perfect. Like there's still problems, we still have to, like, when there's a complicated title issue, like I am a title expert, and one of the reasons I get most of the properties I do is because I'm able to clean up title issues that other people can't. So they come to me, and like if they've gone to another land investor that's like, oh, we can't do anything because your title issues, I'm like, that's not a thing. I can fix that for you. It's about time and money. So they can't fix it because they don't have the knowledge, but I can fix it. And my staff isn't trained on every little nuance. Like I have life experience, and I worked for Fannie Mae as a title analyst. I had the worst of the worst cases that had been tied up in court for 6 years or whatever. So like I knew all the little ins and outs that sometimes title companies didn't even know. So I'd have to be like, did you look at this? Did you try this? Did you try that? And working with attorneys and stuff. So those type of things I still have to hold on to. And that part's, I guess, not surprising, but I was hoping to pass that on to them too. So like I still have to do a little bit of work, which is also a little bit surprising.
Someone recently said to me that I am the most open-minded person that they know. And my immediate response was it was because as a child, we traveled to Europe. We traveled all over the country. My parents took me to art museums and history museums, and they exposed me to different cultures and different ideas. And the reason why I'm open minded is because I was given the opportunity to learn about more than just the bubble that I lived in.
Absolutely.
And so
100%.
kudos to you for giving your children that opportunity.
I'm glad to hear the final result of that, because that is my goal, and I love hearing it from a grown child that went through it, because that's what I don't want them to live in the bubble. I want them to experience the world and the different cultures and the people, and see the different sides of you, and put your feet in somebody else's shoes, And I think the only way to do that is to get outside the bubble. There's people that stay in one city or one state for their entire lives, and I'm like, really? There's a whole world out there,
So how did momentum change your business, and did you end up where you thought you were going?
Momentum changed my business, obviously, in a very positive way, because I'm able to focus on my kids and stay home with them. Originally, I thought I wanted to homeschool both of my boys, which I would have loved to. But I guess I realized in a roundabout way after the fact, after putting them in school, that I actually, like, I love my boys and I want to be home with them all the time. But I also need the mental stimulation of like talking to you, for example, or even if I'm doing my own thing, like building my AI business, I love talking to AI. Like I do it, I'm probably on there 24/7. Like if I could be awake that long. But most of my time is spent building things in AI and building new things. And now being able to help other people that are asking for my help in automating their business, I'm able to like get into the weeds with them. I can get into the nitty and gritty with them. So like when I was a loan officer, I loved it that I could hear how much people made. That was like, and see their credit scores and see what they owned. And like, that was just, I loved like getting into people's personal business. And I love doing that with business side of things too, because I can help them grow. And I never realized, and I don't want to sound cocky, but I've never realized like how good I was at helping people of varying businesses, because of my strength, which I'm grateful that I have ADHD, because I'm able to share my various experiences. I talked about, well, I need to be on to the next thing, right? And so I'm like, I need to do this other thing. I'm done with that. I need to do this. And I did that throughout my entire career. I owned a sign company. I bought a bucket truck because I was afraid of heights and I wanted to conquer it. I did all these things, and just like having that prior experience, I tried to do a web design business. I tried to do all sorts of things, huge past of different businesses and ideas. And going down those rabbit holes, I was able to just like study with the knowledge that I learned from each one of those things. And not just from the practical life experience, which is huge, but also the studying that I did to get those businesses where they were, even though like some of them were like failures in my mind because I never was able to scale them. And one of the reasons I decided to let them go was because I realized at the moment this isn't scalable. Like the sign company I owned, I'm like, I can't, like, I'm always going to be out there putting signs up or managing people, which at the time I was like, I never want to manage people again because I did it and I hated it. And now it's like I have good staff. And that was part of the problem, is I needed to grow as a leader and I needed to have more mentors. And by mentors, I mean like even the books I read, the podcasts I listened to, the YouTube videos I follow. And like, well, AI has accelerated that because I can take the transcripts now and just like narrow it down to the bullet points that apply to me. So that's helped exponentially. But having all that experience helps me with other businesses to help them get momentum. So like the momentum side of it for me kind of translates into the excitement for another business, because I love starting things. Like I love starting businesses. I just don't want to manage them. I don't want to maintain them, right? So being able to start one and show it from beginning to success, which I think is success, which is time freedom, and financial freedom, and being able to do that, and then being able to translate everything that I've learned, not just from my last business that I automated, but like all the like past lives of businesses that I've been in, and all the books that I've had, and all the mentors that I've had, being able to translate that and give everybody tips on like, well, have you thought about doing it this way? Have you done it this way? And being able to, like, with ADHD, I'm more blunt, and I hate beating around the bush. Like that's one of my most annoying things. It's like, just tell me what you need to tell me. I don't have time for this, you know? And I do that for other people too, because like that's how I feel. Like I don't be like, well, your website's crappy or whatever, you know, just be like, hey, I noticed that this needs to be changed here, and if you do it this way, it'll be more successful. Not like, hey, would you like some tips on your website? I could help you out. Blah, blah. Like that really annoys me. Just tell me what's wrong with it, you know, tell me how to fix it. Get to the point. So I think that having that past momentum of all those other businesses has kind of helped push me forward in a way, and that was kind of surprising.
Let's pivot to automations. So I admit that I am an AI chick. I think Perplexity is the tool that I use the most, and it really has changed the way I do things. I also use Notebook LM, which is by Google, a lot to do the thing that you said. Well, I take, I've got 6 things I want to watch, 6 videos I want to watch. I don't have time to watch all 6, so I'll put them in the notebook and say, synopsize these 6 videos and tell me the key takeaways from these 6 things that I need to know. Right. I do that for research because it's such a great research tool that and then I can decide, or I can say, of these 6 videos, which is the one I really need to watch. Right.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. You know me, like you can put it in the script. Yeah. Like, you know who I am because you have my history.
But now that I have Perplexity, I don't use Notebook LM as much as I used it before. I Perplexity, because Perplexity does all that without having to feed it into Notebook. Perplexity will actually do the research for me. And I'm also very hyper conscious that right now in Michigan, in our surrounding areas, they want to put in these data centers, and we don't want our fresh water to be used for data centers. We want our fresh water to be consumed by humans, right? We want to have clean drinking water. And that I'm hypersensitive about that, because we had the Flint water crisis when we had a mismanagement of water, 2 decades ago, and it caused people to die. Right. So water is a really important resource, and we are surrounded by, there are 5 Great Lakes and 4 of them surround Michigan. So we're hypersensitive about water here. And I have to weigh my ethics over whether or not this convenience that Perplexity and AI has offered me is worth the other side.
Yeah, I totally get that. And if you've seen some of my YouTube videos, I had to really address that head on, because I kept hearing people say that, and I was frustrated because they don't understand what is being done when they watch Netflix, for example. They're like, well, I can't use AI, but then they're on their phone 24/7. They have things uploaded to the cloud. I'm like, you're saving your photos on the cloud. You're using email. You're using Google, which is AI. All their searches are AI now.
Everything's AI. Yeah. There's nothing Facebook, that AI isn't YouTube, touching. Yeah.
Exactly. And if you are watching Netflix, for an hour every night instead of solving your problems with AI, I have a huge problem with that. Because you are wasting all of our data centers and all of our water and all of our time when you could be solving world problems. Like, AI has solved health issues. Like, it's discovered new diseases. It's discovered new medicines. It can do, I don't know if you've been I follow all this stuff. I get super excited about it because it can do protein folding in such a fast and rapid way that they can take these new medications that they've discovered were for one thing. And I wish I had the specifics, but they've discovered them for one thing, and then they translate it for this other thing that they didn't even know was possible, because AI can do the pattern matching that humans can't. It's been able to find cancer up to 2 years earlier than a doctor could, just by looking at the reports. So when people are like, oh, I hate AI, I'm like, you're just looking at the wrong side of it.
I was one of those 80s kids. I was taught to love the planet.
Yes.
I wasn't taught about all the things we're doing wrong. I was just taught to love it. right?
Yes, absolutely. And I'm the same. And I'm drinking the same water. Like, I am living on the same planet. I have to breathe the same oxygen, and I'm totally on board with that. Like, I don't like companies and corporations coming in. And part of the problem is that we had big companies, I'm not going to mention, that came in and did it the wrong way.
Mm-hmm.
They came into all these cities and asked for permits, or sometimes didn't ask for permits, and then went way above and beyond what they were supposed to actually do illegally. They should not have done. And corporations keep coming in and doing that. And so that is a problem. And it does need to be addressed, and it does need to be controlled, and it needs to be talked about. It's important to talk about it and get the word out of what they're doing. It's important. But to say that AI needs to be cut off completely, like, that's not going to happen.
It's not
First
going
of
to
all,
happen.
it's
Yeah.
just not. So if you're not going to cut it off, then you need to get involved, because if you don't understand what it can do and the positives to it, you're not going to understand how to fight the big guys.
Yeah.
So you need to get in it, and you need to use it. And I'm like, I know you're going to hate that, but you need to actually do it, because you need to know how to fight them, and fight them with it. Use AI to fight it. I've asked AI, how can I help with this? How can I minimize this? And there's ways you can do it. And I've done it. I have my AI agents building up sub agents, which sounds like it's more complicated, but it's not. They go in, and instead of using this big, massive brain that I've built, they go in and build this one little thing that I need, because I don't need a big, massive brain for this one little project, right? So it goes and builds that small agent so that I can work on other things, and it can just do that one little itty bitty thing without the massive token usage that it had before, right? So that's one of the things that I set up on my own AI system, and a lot of these are starting to do it as well. There's also the different places that you can go. Like, Manus is a Chinese-owned company, and they don't have intellectual rights. Like, the government owns their stuff. So, like, I'm leery of putting my information in there. I'm not going to put credit card information in there. I'm not going to put, my date of birth is already public information, but I'm not going to put stuff in there that I don't want them to have. And I don't use Manus. And ChatGPT is another one that's, like, very popular, and they kind of sign some government things that I don't agree with, and I still use them because they're the only ones that allow me to share GPTs with people, and it's the most common. And so if I need to train people on it, I need to be able to use that too, right?
I
But
canceled my ChatGPT account, closed it.
A lot of people did.
Yeah, I just don't. I'm not
But
training anybody on how to use it, and I'm not sharing
yeah,
GPTs.
yeah. Yeah. So I needed it for that, but then I switched everything to Claude because it's just so much better, and they're also more ethical. They are against allowing AI to do drones autonomously. They're like, it's not where it needs to be. We can't do that. It's not where it needs to be.
That was a question I was going to ask you. Is what?
Oh, sorry.
Well, I wasn't going to go down drones, but what should be automated and what shouldn't?
That is a great question.
We know that war should not be automated.
War should not be automated. It's really weird that they're even talking about it. I know it's coming, and I hate it. I hate that we are spending so much on it, period, on war, that it could be spent on social things here, medical care, child care, feeding the hungry and homeless would be great.
Time has flown. It's time to start wrapping up. Is there anything that you wanted to talk about that we haven't covered yet? And I know that you have a gift for the audience.
Yes, I do. So I not only automate people's businesses, but I also offer a free AI course. It's actually $20. It's $19. It's called Practical AI, and it's a workshop. It's 1 hour. And the next one I'm doing is July 8th, and I have them regularly. So if you miss that one, it's not a problem. But I had a code for your listeners to get it for free. That code is Gratitude. So type in Gratitude at the check-in, and you will get the workshop for free. That's automationsforowners.com/workshop.
And that will be in the show notes, y'all. So look in the description of the episode, and you'll find that link. Thank you for that. I know that the audience does take advantage of those free offers, because there was one recently, and I saw several people from the audience in the class. So
that's great.
So I will see you in the class, because I like I said before, perplexity is my tool. I've actually taught people some of the automations that I have put into place on how to streamline the whole podcasting process. And, I've taught some of that to other podcasters, because it really does save time. I still spend about 8 hours per episode, but that's my choice.
Yeah.
That's my choice to spend that much time. I have heard episodes that are completely AI edited versus me editing them myself, and I think that I do a better job than AI does. So I'm not going to let AI edit my episodes for me. Sorry.
Yeah. Okay, but Fable 5. Okay, I'm going to blow your mind. I have Perplexity too. I pay for it. My staff uses it. I'm going to blow your mind if you come on July 8th, because the Claude hands down, best. The company, the people behind it, just it's amazing.
Well, you know,
it can do so much more.
Perplexity
And Fable
uses
5 just came out, so
Perplexity uses one of the Claude engine.
oh yes, yeah, it
so,
does,
yeah.
but it doesn't have all the capabilities.
But it has other
doesn't go as
things
far.
that Claude doesn't offer that I like.
Yeah.
You know, I like the way I can create spaces. I like that I can say, find me 10 videos about such and such, and then tell me which video is the best one. I mean, you can't do that
Yeah.
with Claude.
Well, you can, but I like Perplexity for that too. Anything like search engine related, I usually use Perplexity for that. Gemini is coming a long way too, though, so I've kind of switched over a lot to searching on Gemini or for the videos.
I never used Gemini, so I can't. Yeah,
they just started getting good, so that doesn't surprise me. It was like this year they started getting good. They've not been good for a long time. I was shocked. Like Google is supposed to be the top of all this technology stuff. I was shocked. Them and Microsoft, like Copilot. I'm like, why? What is wrong with you guys? Like, you guys should have been like in front. It's kind of like when Skype dropped the ball with Zoom. I'm like, oh, why? Like Skype should have been number one. Like now we're all Zooming.
It's so
crazy.
So interesting. It's like Blockbuster, how they lost, to Netflix.
Like
anyway,
they missed the boat.
Anyway, stop it. We have to stop. We have to wrap up. Stop talking to me. No, I feel like we could probably have 6 episodes. Okay.
I'm down. I love talking to you. This is fun.
If the listener wants to automate just one thing in their business, what is the first thing they should automate?
If they've got no experience with AI and they need to automate something, I would say the very basic thing, which is just emails. And I know that sounds really basic and everybody says it. You need to start there because you need to have an email or anything written in your voice. Once you get emails, you're going to be able to do blog posts. You're going to be able to do scripts for videos. Like you're going to be able to do everything, but you need to get it in your own voice. So
are you teaching that at your workshop?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, I'll be teaching how to get things in your own voice. Yep.
Well, no, I'm talking about email automation.
No, that's more advanced because I have AI employees for that. That's like that's like 3rd level.
Yeah, that's way above my pay grade. AI employees.
Yeah, like, I can definitely help you. I can teach you, but you need the basics.
I have tools that I use, but
and we start with tools, then we start with repeatable prompts, which you're probably already doing.
Oh yeah.
And then we go into full automation, which is full blown, and it blows people away. I used to do a 90-minute call on this, and I was just showing people everything, and then they're like, "I need to take a nap." So I was like, "Let's do 60 minutes. We'll just do 2 topics."
That's a lot. I actually am. I'm still I'm alpha testing it myself, but I'm creating a resilient business resilience challenge, and it's just doing one thing every day for 28 days, the same thing every day for 28 days to build momentum in your business, and it's difficult.
Yes.
But
that would be hard for me.
One repeated thing over and over. And for me, I chose blogging, that I would blog every day, but I have a very intentional thing I'm doing with it. Anyway, we're so off topic.
I can help you with that.
We're so off
topic.
Plan
to stay late at the free event. I'll help you with that.
Actually, I have an automation in place that's helping me with it.
Oh, good.
So what I'm doing is I'm taking so my website was hacked in 2022. 2024, a couple years ago, 2 or 3 years ago. And I lost 250 episodes of my podcast. I lost all of my breast cancer blog posts, all of it. It was all gone. God. Luckily, a lot of it is on the Wayback Machine. So I was able to pull and archive the stuff that, like my breast cancer story and all that. I was able to most of it, not all of it's there, because the Wayback Machine doesn't archive everything. It just archives things that. Anyway, long story short,
snapshot. Yeah.
Long story short, I 100%, even though search engine optimization has changed, I 100% stand by my conviction that the best place to put your podcast episodes is on your own blog. And so I have.
That's good.
There's still about 200 episodes that are not on my blog yet. So I have been adding the back archives to the new blog, 1 episode at a time, but I do have an AI automation that helps me write those blog posts.
Do you have Perplexity Computer uploading those for you?
Did I tell you I'm a Capricorn?
No.
I have control issues.
Well, there's the funny part. I set up my computer to do it for me, to do all these things for me, to clean out my email and stuff, and I just sat there watching it because I was so fascinated.
I actually, I read and rewrite almost every single one of them because I'm a Capricorn. So, okay.
I can help you with that.
I don't know if you can help me with my Capricornism. All right. So, last question. Jenna Bannister, for whom or what are you most grateful?
Whom or what? My boys. They have helped me. They have pushed me. And not in the ways that you'd think, like they pushed my buttons, but they they also pushed me to be successful. Like I wouldn't be where I am today if it weren't for before they were even here. Like I said, it took 8 years to get them to get them earthside. So I wouldn't be where I am today if I hadn't had the vision of wanting my two children 2 years apart, and wanting to be at home with them. So like without them, like it wasn't until they were even here or close to here that I started looking into, I need to do home-based business. I need to, I always wanted to be a stay-at-home mom. So I'm like, if it weren't for them, I would not have pushed myself so hard to get my business off the ground. And it's because of them that I do everything I do. And don't get me crying. I'm gonna stop there.
Thanks for tuning in to Gratitude Geek, the podcast for Gen X women solopreneurs weaving gratitude into your business strategy. This has been episode 332. Our theme music is by Rev Brock and Solely. I've been your host, Candice Rodarty. Stay groovy, my friends.
Stay groovy, my friends.